Hey everybody, it's Chase with AV Pop Culture again, and today we are here to do another 4K deep dive review into Scream Factory's recent release of another in the John Carpenter library. I am talking about John Carpenter's Ghosts of Mars. So pop that tape in, I got you, let's go do this. All right, so Ghosts of Mars. I know a lot of people don't think of this as like one of John Carpenter's better movies, and it's one of it, like a little bit later film of his and all that kind of stuff. I think it's fun. I do. I think it's fun. Is it great? No. I think he set out to achieve exactly what he wanted to with this, and Scream Factory, Shout Studios, achieved a good 4K right here. Not quite on the level of like Vampires, because there's a few things that we'll talk about that hold it back from that have nothing to do with the 4K restoration. But this is really good. Another one where the colors just leap off at you. Here, of course, a lot of it is red tone, so that makes sense. But we're going to talk about the movie a little bit, and we're going to get into all the 4K stuff. So if you haven't seen this movie, I'm not going to like spoil everything for you because it's not that kind of review. This is not the type of review where like I kind of dissect the movie. If you guys really want like some deep dive reviews, like where I sit and talk about like pick a movie and talk about like what I think different scenes mean, like just, really review and pick apart a movie for cinematography, for script, for all that kind of stuff, where I really go through a movie, you guys can let me know. But like this is more of a general overview and kind of letting you know my thoughts in case you want to purchase the 4K or not purchase the 4K, just kind of what I thought about it from a general perspective like that. But this is from 2001, John Carpenter. And you actually have a pretty big cast in here. We're going to talk about that in a second. But it takes place in the future. So it's like 2176. So we're like, 150 years or whatever in the future. This time like 175 years into the future. And a Martian police group is sent in to pick up and like kind of transfer a dangerous criminal in this like, that's being held in this like mining kind of settlement community on Mars. And when they get there, they find out that this remote mining colony is kind of abandoned, and the former like settlers, I guess, if you will, the people who live there, are now being possessed, sort of inhabited themselves by ghosts or demons of Mars. So part of this crew in this movie like stars Pam Grier, Natasha Henstridge of Species. You have Clay Duvall in here, and you have Jason Statham, back when he still had a little bit of a hair on the dome up there, because it's from 2001. And then, of course, they are there. Ice Cube is there. Ice Cube. So I heard someone talking about how like some people think that Ice Cube holds this movie back, that he wasn't a seasoned enough actor. Some people think, well, here's the thing about that. I kind of want to tell you that John Carpenter did an interview in 2011 where he said that he wanted to make this movie as tongue-in-cheek and over-the-top and kind of formalistic almost acting style, kind of almost what you would see in Creepshow, right? The golly gee, like in that sort of different act. He wanted to go for that, and he wanted to combine elements of horror, Western, and sci-fi in order to do that. And he felt like he achieved it. So some of the acting choices that you're going to see in the movie were probably directed that way. Because like at this point in time, Ice Cube was probably the most famous of any of them. I mean, you had Natasha Henstridge had done Species, but by this time, Ice Cube had done Boys in the Hood, a serious dramatic role. He had done Higher Learning, another serious dramatic role. He was nominated for some awards for Boys in the Hood. He also had done the Friday movies. I think all three of them by that time. I know the first two, but I think all three. He had done Three Kings, I believe, with George Clooney and Mark Wahlberg. So he had done some stuff in addition to rapping, being a rapper and stuff in the early 80s and stuff. He had done a lot of stuff by then. So I think like some of this stuff is directed by Carpenter. He was going for it. And so the movie, it has action. It is definitely a space sci-fi horror western. It has all of those combined into it. And maybe that doesn't always work for you. But when you keep in context of what he was trying to do, that he's purposely going over the top, now you can enjoy the movie in a different way. Because you're not looking for it to be like a serious, like, whatever kind of moment. It is supposed to be popcorn, tongue-in-cheek, ridiculous, action, blood, all that stuff. Natasha Henstridge in her underwear. You're supposed to have all that. And of course, you got Pam Grier in here, so you bring in some of those like B-movie exploitation kind of movie vibes that she was very famous for in the 80s. She had just done Jackie Brown again a few years before this. You had Clea Duvall, who was in a lot of movies around then. She had just done Robert Rodriguez is The Faculty not long before this. So like you had all this working, and you shake it up and throw it in here with some monsters, and they basically are like possessing people. So you got your horror element there, but they also kind of ride into this town and take it over like the bad guys, the desperados, like riding into an old Western town. It's very dusty, red, all these colors. Dude, it is a space Western horror sci-fi. And I think it's fun. There are things that I don't like. It's like he didn't always know how to get from one part in the movie to another part. So there's a shitload of cross dissolves. And cross dissolves like that are usually things that you see in a drama more often, are done for dramatic effect, like sometimes in a horror film or maybe an action film, like if maybe you're cross dissolving into someone taking apart and putting together a gun and things like that. They're for time passage. But there are times where it's like somebody's like walking towards a car or like a space vehicle, a rover or something, and they're walking and then it just cross dissolves and hurry ups and gets them there. Like stuff like that is, maybe not the best use of a cross dissolve kind of thing. And it's very cross dissolve heavy. So that's kind of an odd thing. But then you go back to putting in context of it's just supposed to be for shits and giggles. It's just supposed to be for fun. And if you're a Carpenter fan, you have to add the 4K to your collection. And now, with the 4K, I'm going to jump to it in just a second. The movie's fun, though. Like, if you just want all of those elements in just a crazy ride where you leave this earth and go enjoy it, and it's a John Carpenter film, enjoy it. If you're looking for, like, some kind of classic Carpenter statement, hard, dark, edgy, some kind of, this ain't it. This ain't it. That's not what this is. And that's not what he was trying to be. And everything doesn't have to be like that. I think sometimes when like Carpenter does a movie like this, you run into the risk where fans, and, fans is short for fanatics. They're not always the most, they're not always thinking the most clearly. You run into a situation where they want you to just play the hits. Just do the things that they know. And then, of course, the director or writer, somebody like Carpenter, runs the risk of if you just play the hits and you do the kind of stuff they know, then they complain that, well, yeah, he makes those good movies, but that's all he does. So it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. I think he was just having fun here. And it comes through. The ending is very abrupt. I hate the ending. I don't like how the ending just abruptly ends. I never did. Because it's like, what the... All right, then. The credits are rolling. But it's a fun ride. It's ridiculous. Have some fun with it. Everything don't have to be serious all the time. And you got a cool cast put together. You got some cool makeup work. You got a cool look of like Big Daddy Mars, the main villain here. He looks cool as hell. Very poster worthy, and that'll get us into this. So like, I did get the set with the extra slip cover. I screwed up and didn't get that for vampires. So if any of you guys have the vampire extra slip and poster that you don't want, please send it to me. I keep an address down there. If you guys want to send me anything, I keep a AVA Pop Culture address to send stuff, because I accidentally just clicked and bought the wrong thing and didn't realize it, and I don't want to rebuy it again just for the poster and the extra slip. But I love vampires. It was already one of my favorite vampire movies before the awesome 4K. But I did get this extra slip, and I love the way this dude looks. I really do. The monster kind of thing, the lead guy. It's simple makeup, but I think it looks cool as hell. I always did. So I got that, and I got the posters with it. So it's like the two posters, both artworks on here. So I got all that jazz with this one. It's a 2-disc set as far as the 4K goes. You're going to get your... the 4K transfer is from the original camera negative, so you're going to get it from the original 35mm negative, and it has Dolby Vision in it. So you got your Dolby Vision, HDR, all that kind of stuff. The color pops on it. It's not heavy grain, so if you don't like grain, you don't have to worry about that. It's not heavy on grain in this, just enough to make it look filmic. You got to be kind of looking for it. It looks good. I'm trying to remember what else with this. On the 4K, it has the audio commentary with John Carpenter and Natasha Henstridge, but that's not new. They just put it on the 4K. There is on the Blu-ray, because it comes with the Blu-ray, which you get the movie over again on Blu-ray. But you do get a new featurette and kind of interview. It's called Assault on Outpost 13, Scoring the Ghosts of Mars, and an interview with film music historian Daniel Schweiger. I mean, you get something new. You get something new. It's hard, man. It's going to be expensive to get. I mean, who are you going to get back? You're going to pay Statham? You going to pay Ice Cube? I doubt it. How many times, like, you have ported over interviews and a commentary with Natasha Henstridge and John Carpenter, and people are like, why can't you get How many fucking times do you want him to talk about the same movie? Like, how many times? How many times do you want? Like, what else are they supposed to say? If they did interviews and they did a whole commentary through the length of the movie, how many more times do you want to interview them? How many more new things can they have to say? Like, really, I hear this all the time. It's like, well, John Carpenter or George Clooney or Brad Pitt or whoever the hell it is, Tom Hanks, Ron Howard, there's a commentary on here in an interview with them, but it's from like 6 or 7 years ago or 10 years ago or 8. How many times do you want them to talk about it? Like, what more do they have to say? What do they have to say? What else what? Like, unless you want to get them on here to talk about how the 4K itself looks, like, how many times do you need to, like, what the hell else are they going to say? Here, I want to hear some stuff from some other people too that aren't connected. I was just talking to my man, Jason, over at Movie Mass, Pop Culture Mass here on YouTube. Check him out. Love him, fellow Georgia Bulldog. Film degree, like me, all that kind of jazz. We want some stuff where it's just like some other people who aren't connected to the movie talking about it. I dig that too, because we have all of Carpenter and Natasha Henstridge and Ice Cube. We have all of their thoughts on it. How many more times do you want the same people's thoughts on it? I want some other people, like with Iced. Me and Jason and maybe Brian or whoever, maybe we're going to get together and do our own little commentary on the Vinegar Syndrome release of Iced, where it's just, a few dudes having fun, talking, who have filmmaking backgrounds and stuff, who aren't just collectors, who are talking about the movie from other angles and having fun and all that and laughing and joking, but still giving you something. We might do our own video like that. I kind of want to see stuff like that. So everything doesn't have to be, oh, why didn't they get Carpenter back? Dude's already done all he's going to do for this movie. Like, how many more times do you want him to talk about it? But that's my thoughts on that as far as the extra features go. I'm just kind of hear that all the time. But you do got a new resto, a new scan. Those are separate things. Restoration, scan, different things. Not the same. Not the same. The scan is putting it into the machine. Restoration's doing all the work to fix it and bring all the resolution out, all that. So different stuff. But it looks damn good on here. You have the DTS 5.1 audio for you audio guys out there. I'm still trying to finish my Atmos setup for you guys, but there was no Atmos track on this one. Sometimes they might not be able to do an Atmos track. I've said this before. If you can check out my video, I kind of explain that in an editing video where I go into editing software and show you. Part of the time, they might not be able to do an Atmos track because if they just have one condensed music and effects track, they might not be able to pull those apart and put those on different lines and to where they can be assigned by the editing system or your receiver to different speakers. So they just might not be able to do it. So you get the 5.1 audio on here. You get your slip cover. We're going to open this up. You got the original artwork. I don't know if it's, nope, it's not two-sided, so there's nothing on the back side. You got your 4K, you got your Blu-ray, and it really just comes down to, you know, honestly, I wanted Screen Factory to do all of the Carpenter movies in the big black box sets like I have up here. I don't have one behind me for you to see. I can't move my camera. It'll never refocus me. But, you know, like they did for Halloween 1, 2, and 3, which I know 3 is. But like they did it for The Fog. They did it for Gangs of New York. They did it for, or Gangs of New York. Escape from New York. They did it for, dude, I'm just blanking today. Village of the Damned. They did it for They Live. I wanted the box sets for all of it, all the Carpenter stuff, just to like finish off the collection. We didn't get it for Vampires. We didn't get it for Ghosts of Mars. Maybe one day they'll do a whole big Carpenter collection of steelbooks. That'd be cool. Yeah, that's, other than that, like that's my big knock on it. I will say from a 4K standpoint, one of the things that hurts it where it can't stand out like Vampires is the visual effects, the compositing. I don't know if I have it on here and what I've been able to show you or what I can show you as I'm going. But like there's a thing where the woman is telling the story in a flashback and she's basically coming in a hot air balloon that ends up blowing up. And you can see where the two shots, the two different film shots are composited together. It brings that out more in the 4K. The two different shots don't blend together the same way. So you have like, it's composited together, like two different shots, two different things to kind of make this effect. And it really, you see it more on 4K. So it looks like almost like a matte painting on a composited shot and this superimposed hot air balloon blowing over it. But y'all, it's part of the charm. But it does stick out. And that's not the fault of Screen Factory Shout Studios. The 4K is just limited by how they did it at the time. And now, like, they, you know, wasn't intended. They didn't know you were going to see it in 4K to where now you see the hard edges and you see that clear separation. But it's just things like that. And the cross dissolves, the overuse of cross dissolves. You kind of get some fading into the 4K in and out because of that. So that kind of stuff. But like, as far as clarity and all that, the rest of the time, the 4K is baller. It looks good. And if you're a Carpenter fan, you got to have it. Vampires is better movie by far. And the 4K of Vampires might be one of the 4Ks of the year. But there is absolutely nothing wrong with the actual 4K itself here. It's immaculate quality. It's the best it can be. There's just things with the movie that hold it back overall as a package. And that's what I got for you today. Let me know, are you gonna, I'm a Carpenter guy. I'm a mark for Carpenter. I'm gonna get all of his stuff on 4K. I am into film preservation. I want everything on 4K. You will never hear me utter the words, we don't need that on 4K. It'll never happen. It'll never happen. But that's what I got for you. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. It helps out the channel. Let me know in the comments, do you have this? Are you thinking about getting it? What did you think of it? All that kind of stuff. And if you want to help support what I do here, because ain't nobody sending me any of this for free, and they probably never will because I'm too hardcore truth-telling in what I do. But that's okay because that's what I'm here for. You know, that's just how it is. But if you want to help support me, you can join the channel below at my Patreon or YouTube links. A couple dollars a month to get your name and lights on every single video. Behind the scenes looks at my filmmaking, members only videos, and so much more. And I really do appreciate it, y'all. It helps me out more than you know, and I am very grateful And I hope you enjoy these. I'm trying to sprinkle in more 4K reviews here and there so that I help you guys. You know, I get a lot of questions. What'd you think of this one? What'd you think of this one? I'm on the fence about buying it. While I never will tell you to just go buy anything based on my opinion, I'm going to give you my opinion and whether or not I would buy it. And I don't have unlimited funds either. So there you go. But that's what I got for you today. And until next time, you know the drill. Be kind, rewind. Like always, this is Chase with AV Pop Culture. And I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.
I know.